Heaven's Journey to Life. Energy as Authority, Part 1, Day 31. In this post, we're going to have a look at the origins of our natures as beings, as spite and blame. Spite and blame as the action and justification we've become, in spiting ourselves and blaming others for our who, what, and how we are and have become, in and as our within and without, and our creations of and as ourselves. To in the action of spiting ourselves and justification of blaming others for our who, what, and how, we are in our within and without, and our creations of and as energy as ourselves, validating and excusing our existence, ownership, and possession of and as ourselves, in our within, without, and creations as energy, to so not change, have to change. In this, spite and blame as the components of enzymes in and as the fruit of and as ourselves, as part of the tree of life and humanity that has been rotting away our beingness, physicality, and this physical existence as substance manifest, as the tree of life and humanity, as we've become the rotten fruit and rotten children, produced from the rotting tree of and as humanity, from and of those that has gone before us, rotting life away from and of our rotten existence as energy that consume life. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to exist as energy, now manifest as a mind consciousness system of and as energy that consumes substance and physicality, for me as energy to continue existing for a finite moment within and as existence as a whole. In this, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how the only way for me to accept, allow, and become such deliberate abuse as energy, from the beginning as my conception of energy, deliberate abuse onto and towards life as substance manifest, as my beingness, manifested singularity, and existence of and as equality and oneness, that I consumed for me as energy to exist and survive, equal to and one with, now as the mind, as the deliberate abuse onto and towards my physical body and beingness, that I consume for me as the mind consciousness of and as energy to exist and survive, equal to and one with my creation as me, as a deliberate abuse onto and towards this physical existence, that me as my creation, as the world system of money, manifest that consume physicality to transform into and as money, for it to continue existing and surviving. That the only way for me to accept, allow, and become such deliberate abuse as energy in my within, without, and creations as me, is through and as the starting point, nature, action, and living of me as spite and blame. To through and with blame and spite as me, excuse and validate the existence of me as energy. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand that for me as energy to continue existing and surviving, I have to continue consuming substance of and as me, that the very act of consuming substance is the accepted and allowed abuse, misuse, manipulation of and as substance for me as energy to exist and survive. Thus, the very act of me, how I am, having to abuse, misuse, and manipulate substance and life for me to continue existing and surviving as energy, equally as one manifested the nature of me, what I am, as abuse, misuse, and manipulation, in and as the who I am as energy. Thus, the very who, how, and what of and as me has become abuse, misuse, and manipulation. From this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to manipulate my beingness and manifested singularity through manipulating substance itself into and as energy as me, with this manipulation as the consuming and transforming substance into and as energy through misuse and abuse, to serve my interest as energy, with this deliberate manipulation through misuse and abuse of and as substance into energy that has become my who, what, and how of and as energy. Man, I, pull, elevation, manipulation, as the action of me as energy, pulling as consuming man, the manifestation of me as substance, from and of my beingness manifested singularity, and from and of existence as a whole, into and as me as consuming and so transforming substance into energy as me, so abusing substance through the deliberate friction and conflict I manifested towards it, and misuse substance in transforming it into energy for my service, in serving my interest of and as the creation and accumulation of and as energy, to accumulate energy and so elevate the existence of me as energy into and as the positive energy experience of and as the more of and as me. Abominable use, abuse. Within and as the very act of and as manipulating as consuming substance to transform into energy, to serve my interest as energy, for me to manipulate substance. That very act of consuming substance to transform into and as energy, I do within and as the nature of and as abuse, as abominable use, as a bomb, enable, where I manifest deliberate friction and conflict, bombing substance, to enable and enable me as energy, through and in that bombing as friction and conflict to and towards substance, transform substance into and as energy for me, and so deliberately and literally, abominably using substance in life, through and as manipulating substance as consuming, abusing substance, and transforming it into and as energy to serve my interest, misusing, as energy, survival, and optimum energy awareness, as the energy experience of and as positive energy. Misuse, as I have accepted and allowed myself to miss the use and worth of and as substance as life, of and as equality and oneness, in standing equal to and one with life and substance in creating life, substance that belongs to all, everything and everyone in and as equality and oneness, because we all equally as one emerged birth from and of it, but instead, because of my accepted and allowed conception of and as separation, manifested me into an energy entity that can only exist and survive from and of substance in my relationship to and with it as consumption, abuse, and transforming substance into energy, manipulation. With this relationship of me as energy to substance and life as abuse and manipulation, misusing substance and life to serve only me as energy, instead of gifting life to all in and as equality and oneness. Where I as all have manifested our relationship to substance in and as competition, where all will compete for substance to transform into energy. In this, I have missed the use and worth, missed me as substance of and as equality and oneness, and so misused substance that was supposed to stand in and as equality and oneness for, with, and as all as me, but instead made its use and worth to serve my interest as energy, only to be at my service, only to ensure my survival and existence for a finite moment in and as existence. In this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to equally as one still today exist as this nature and action of my who, how, and what I am, as energy, as my mind consciousness system relationship to and towards my physical body, that manipulate, abominably use, and misuse my physical body to serve my interest and my interest only as the continued existence and survival of and as me as consciousness for a finite moment on this earth, this one life, where I, as the mind, with my conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind, penetrate, permeate, and infiltrate into and as the depths of me as substance manifest, as my beingness and physical body, into and as the very flesh, bone, tissue, and fabric of and as the human physical body, within and as the nature of manipulating and transforming physicality into and as energy for me, within that very act of abusing as manifesting friction and conflict into and towards, from and of my unconscious mind, taking from and of the very sustenance, nutrients, and substance of and as the physical body to transform into and as energy, and so misusing the very physical body and substance manifest to serve only my interest as the mind to continue existing and surviving. Energy as the world system of money relationship to and towards this physical existence that manipulate, abominably use, and misuse this physical existence to serve its interest and its interest only as the continued existence and survival of and as itself as money, where the money system penetrate, permeate, and infiltrate itself as systems into and as the depths of and as its physical existence, into and as nature, the earth, water, air, through and as deliberate friction and conflict as abuse, poverty, starvation, war, violence, deforestation, fracking, drilling, waste, to transform physicality into and as money, manipulating physicality, and in that abuse and manipulation and of and as this physicality, misusing this physical existence to serve only its own interest as money and energy, when this physical existence, in fact, belongs to all, in and as equality and oneness, as we all originated and birthed from and of this physical existence, in and as equality and oneness. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand that possession is deliberate. Any form of possession where I claim unawareness is deliberate deception within and as the nature and act of me as spite and blame. Because possession and possession where I claim unawareness and possession of ownership are both equally existent within and as the same word, where in the beginning, in and as my conception of and as separation, conceiving me as separate from and of existence as substance manifest, that very moment of conception as separation manifested friction and conflict to and towards substance, which manifested energy experience, and so, from that moment manifested my who, what, and how I am as manipulation, abuse, and misuse to and towards substance and existence, where from that moment and decision of conception of me as separation, immediately manifesting my who, how, and what I am, friction and conflict as manipulation, abuse and misuse of and as substance transformed into and as energy that created the energy experience, where I, in and as that conception of and as separation, believed that the energy experience was me as who I am, as I became aware of it as me within, and as my manifested singularity and beingness, thus defining my me, who I am, as energy experience. In this, for me to experience my who I am as energy experience as starting point of conception of separation, I had to continuously take from substance, where that very taking is an act of possessing, because ownership and possession only exist within taking from, getting from something, someone, somewhere. Thus, my relationship to energy experience as me stood within and as the nature of and as possession and ownership. The moment I decided my who I am as separation that manifested as energy experience, it manifested my what I am as energy consuming system and machine that take from substance to transform into energy, to own and possess as me. And so the how I am as manipulation, abuse, and misuse through and as the act of friction and conflict to and towards substance and existence manifest, to transform, take substance into energy, to own. Thus, I possessed and owned myself. I possessed and owned energy as me, through and by taking from and of substance. Where that taking for me to possess myself, to possess energy, stood within and as the who, how, and what I am as manipulation, abuse, and misuse of and as substance, within and as the starting point of and as friction and conflict. In this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to thus deliberately possess me as energy, through and as the taking from and of substance within and as my who, how, and what I am, as manipulation, abuse, and misuse, within and as the starting point of and as friction and conflict. I forgive myself thus that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand that for possession to exist, a want must exist, a want that will thus take and get from somewhere, someone, something, to possess that want. Within myself, my want was me as energy experience and awareness, within and as the energy experience and awareness, of and as me as positive energy experience, that I wanted to possess as me through taking and getting from and of substance and existence manifest, within and as the nature and action of my who, how, and what I am as manipulation, abuse, and misuse to and towards substance, through and as friction and conflict, transforming, taking substance into and as energy, ownership and possession of and as my want as energy. In this, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how, for possession to exist, a want must exist, and the nature and act of possessing as taking from and getting from someone, somewhere, and something exist within and as the nature and act of abuse, misuse, and manipulation as it now exists, with my mind in the physical. My mind as energy wants more energy, and thus take and get from the physical body within and as the act and nature of and as misuse, abuse, and manipulation within, and as the starting point of and as friction and conflict of transforming physicality into and as energy. The world system of money in this physical existence, the world system of money wants more money, and thus take and get from this physical existence within and as the act and nature of and as misuse, abuse, and manipulation, within and as the starting point of and as friction and conflict to transform physicality into money. And within the world system of money, manifesting consumerism, where for consumers to consume, they exist within wants and for them to get and have their wants to possess. This physical existence goes through extensive abuse, misuse, and manipulation to transform physicality into their wants to possess. In the next post, we'll continue with how we from here, as energy possession and possessors, have manifested spite and blame to protect and defend the possession and possessing of, and as ourselves as energy, and within this, thus, seeing, realizing, and understanding the deliberate nature of possession. Within this, we're also continuing with answering the question, the chicken or the egg. As within the post to continue, one will see, realize, and understand the full scope and extent of our responsibility to ourselves and creation that is in fact ourselves, and why. I commit myself to, through writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application, assist and support me to stop my accepted and allowed who, what, and how I am as energy, in and as the nature and action of me as manipulation, abuse and misuse of and as my physical body, that equally as one accepted and allowed the who, what, and how I am, creation of me as energy, as money, as what the world system of money is manifesting in and as its physical existence as manipulation, abuse, and misuse. I commit myself to, through writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective applications, as I stop my self-possession of and as me as energy, as the mind and consciousness, and return my possessions of and as me as energy, as mind and consciousness back into, as, and with the physical body. As my process of taking words of knowledge and information as energy, and standing as a self-directive principle as the living word, equal to and one with my human physical body, where my relationship with my physical no more exists in possession and consummation through manipulation, abuse, and misuse, but in and as equality and oneness living. I commit myself to stand equal to and one with the authority of and as life as the physical, as equality and oneness, and no more accept and allow my mind and consciousness as energy to be the authority as the manipulation, abuse, and misuse I, as energy, have accepted and allowed unto and towards life, substance, and physicality, to only possess what is here for its own interest and want of and as survival. In this, I commit myself to manifest the world system of money into and as the equal money system, that stand within and as the authority of and as life, that ensures an equal and one life and living for all within and as this existence, and no more accept and allow the world system of money to be the authority as it exists now in manipulating, abusing, and misusing all and everything and everyone in and as this physical existence, for it to possess what is here for its own interest and want as money for its own survival. I commit myself to, through writing, self-forgiveness, self-corrective application, assist and support me as I walk through and with my mind system to every point I walk, every relationship, every word, within and as writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application. Align each point, relationship, and word into and as equal and one practical living with and as my human physical body, as my process of reestablishing my directive principle in and as me, from energy to life. I commit myself to, as I walk the world system as me, walking every point, relationship, and system, and align the current world system of money to a system that will ensure life for all in and as equality and oneness, as returning the world system of money's possessions back to earth and this physical existence, so that all may equally as one have an opportunity to in fact live life.